It's the semifinals of the Lindores Abbey Rapid. Carlsen-Naka, Ding-Dubov. Today's day 2 of the semis. Naka needs to win, and Ding needs to win. Otherwise, they're eliminated, and Dubov plays Carlsen in the final. It's a 4-game match. If it's 2-2, then they play a Armageddon game, and so on. I already have a sore throat, and I have to do 3 streams today for about 8 hours, so that'll be fun. I'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern for the wrap-up of the Clutch Cup Champion Showdown with Fabi and Wesley. And then from 3 to 4, I have to do some YouTube work for another place that's not related to what I'm doing here. Yeah, it's like an online chess camp. And yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess there's a small chance Karen will get me some cough drops. Go, Karen. She'll be here in about 5-10 minutes. So we ended up last night. We were on the way home. Karen thought we should watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest instead of Blazing Saddles. She's seen it, but it's been like 25 years. And that's a very strange movie for me, because every time I see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I like it more than the last time, which is really weird. I don't think I've seen a movie 10 times or more that I like better every time I see it, but that one I do. So I don't know. I've seen it about 10 times, I guess. Now, in 1975, when the film was made, Jack Nicholson was dating Angelica Houston. I think they lived together. And I remember many years ago reading on the internet that she's in the movie for like 1 second, but I've never seen it. And then when I was watching it with Karen, I thought I saw her, so I paused it and rewind and all that, and it was her. Karen agreed that was Angelica Houston. She's in the movie for 1 second, and she's not in the credits. Yeah, because she's really hard to notice when she's in the movie. If you've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there's a scene where they go out on a boat. I'm on a mother boat. And as they come back and the police are waiting for them, and the hospital people, and they have the fish, they show some townspeople just standing looking out in the ocean that are just standing around, and Angelica Houston is one of those people. Yeah. All right. I'm not subbed. I didn't get a reminder. All right. What? Dancing Tortoise knows what's up. Let's see. Yeah. I know a lot about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, I was pausing and showing Karen like Danny DeVito and Christopher Lloyd and the other actors who were in it, who were well known. The guy who is the hospital administrator, the guy who runs the hospital in the movie, he's actually the hospital administrator. He's not an actor. They let him be in the movie. That's actually the hospital that he runs. They shot it in a hospital in Oregon. And anyway, I know a lot about the movie, but I mean, that movie is just great. And then I was reading a lot about the movie last night and during the movie, and it's a couple of famous people. It's their favorite movie. Barack Obama and somebody else famous. It was their favorite movie. Yeah. All right, so it's 9:57, and I think I've refreshed enough. 27 viewers, that sounds pretty good. Yeah. And so on. Yeah, something. Man, Jack Nicholson's 83 now. Yeah. So what's funny is it was a play, it was a book, and Kirk Douglas owned the rights, and he wanted to play the Jack Nicholson character, but he couldn't get the movie made in the 60s. And he sold the rights to the story to his son, Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas got the movie made, and Kirk Douglas said, yeah, don't cast me, I'm too old. Yeah, Kirk Douglas was in his early 60s in 1975, so they got Jack Nicholson instead. And there's a lot of other funny stuff about the movie, but that was Brad Dourif's first role. If you've ever seen Deadwood, the television show, Brad Dourif plays the doctor, and he's in this movie. It's his first role, and also Christopher Lloyd's first role. And it turned Danny DeVito was the first person cast in the movie because him and Michael Douglas were best friends. So there you go. Kirk Douglas is Michael Douglas's father. That's correct. Yeah. They made fun of the movie in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's a scene where Danny DeVito's running away from the hospital in Sunny, the mental institution. So, okay, so as it says in the name of the stream, Naka's playing Carlsen and Ding's playing Dubov. Yesterday, Carlsen and Dubov won. So today, Naka and Ding need to win, otherwise they're out. If either one of them wins, we'll have more chess tomorrow for the semifinals. If they both lose again, I don't know if tomorrow's a rest day or they start the finals. I'm guessing it's a rest day. That's my guess. So there may or may not be chess tomorrow. At 4 o'clock today, when we do the Caruana So match, the St. Louis event, the Clutch Cup, today's the last day. So's up 1 point because they both won one game and there's 4 draws. But the game that So won was worth 2 points, so he's up a point. $3 from Probatty. Thank you. Yeah. That's amazing that, Christopher Lloyd and Danny DeVito, that was like the beginnings of their career in movies, and they, both super famous. So that had a lot of great actors in it. I mean, a lot. Good Morning, Wild Rumpus, 300 Sentences. Yeah, what a great movie. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. There we go. We've started, and there's no moves. That's pretty good. So Ding is white against Dubov in the first game. We'll be going here about 3 hours and 15 minutes-ish. I got some Perrier. His name is Zarukian. Well, he's Armenian if his name is IAN at the end. That's Armenian. Okay, and Hikaru's playing. Hikaru's white against Carlsen, and they're playing that same opening again. They've already played this before in this event. We've already seen this. This is the game that this is the only game that Carlsen was black yesterday. Carlsen was white the first and third games and black the second game. And Carlsen slowly outplayed Naka from, I think, a slightly worse position. Naka's playing differently. He played knight bd2 and a3, and eventually he played h3, g4. And it looks like Magnus has prepared a piece sacrifice. So Naka decided not to play the way that he played before with knight d2 and a3 and c3, but he's played g4 right away. And the engine actually suggests sacking a piece because it says after bishop g6, knight takes e5, white is just a pawn up. So this piece sack is engine recommendation, obviously preparation by Carlsen because he played it instantly. And then Hikaru instantly played bishop e3. So Hikaru looked at this last night also, or this morning. And then instantly Carlsen played bishop e7. So he's still in his preparation. And Hikaru instantly played king h1. So this is the preparation they have from analyzing this position before. And Carlsen doesn't know the move king h1 because he's thinking a long time. Now I have stockfish 10, and it's only a depth 21, which is ridiculous. And right now it says king g2 is the best move. It doesn't give king h1 as even one of the top 3 moves. So this means Hikaru forgot his prep, or he has really good prep, because Magnus doesn't know king h1. So if Magnus and Hikaru both prepared this with supercomputers, why does Magnus not know king h1? And why did Hikaru play king h1 immediately? So I don't know. Anyway, king g2 is the engine move right now, but it's at depth 24. That's not a high enough depth for the players to be interested in that. They get in the mid to high 30s before they play a preparation move. Okay, so right now the engine says king g2 is best and king h1 is second. So probably if you let it sit for an hour, it eventually says king h1 is best. I've never seen this piece sacrifice, but both players obviously know it. And after king g2, queen c8 is the engine move, or f5. After king h1, Magnus thought of quite a long time and played the engine recommended f5. Okay. The engine says this is about equal. What black sacrificed a piece. Black has this really annoying pin. Black can get his queen into the game this way. Black can get his rook into the game this way. Black can castle queenside. Black has the 2 bishops. White isn't developed here yet, but white's up a piece. So engine says it's about equal. F5, I think, was the engine recommended move, and Hikaru's thinking a long time. So he's trying to remember his prep, or he's out of his prep. I don't know. Okay. Ding-Dubov played in English, c6, d5. That's what I play. There's a FIDE master in St. Louis named Doug Eckert, and he plays white in this position a lot. I'm sure he's had white in this position also. All right, now Dubov. Oh, I have to fix the thing. Sorry. Damn. I forget stuff a lot. Sorry about that. Jesus. Only 4 minutes of terrible board and stuff. Okay, so Dubov, being Dubov, plays a Dubov move. Queen d4 is the normal move. That defends the pawn on c4. And then black could play rook d8 later, possibly even castle. But Dubov played a move the engine also likes, not as much, h5. And obviously this is still in Dubov's preparation. Dubov likes to play like Dubov. And then white wins his pawn back, and black plays h4. And the engine likes black in this position. So, all right, and then knight e5 was played, and Dubov is thinking, and so forth. Dubov does play like Morozevich, I agree. And in both games thus far, black is playing super aggressively. Yeah. Super aggressive. Roar! Crazy like a fox or something. Yeah. Yeah. Da-da-da. This is annoying. Fix the board. Rawr. You guys are good at saying fix the board when you're basically can see the whole board. You just, one of the files is like half gone. You guys just say nonsense the whole stream, but you like saying fix the board. Like 20 of you said fix the board. That's funny. What's funny is after like 18 people say fix the board, you would think other people would just say like, okay, but you just keep saying it. That's good. Sick of it all, subscribed. Good, good. Fix the board again. That's right. Yeah, exactly. All right. I demand a full refund is correct. All right. So after 95, Dubov opens the H file. Now, this is a point of contention that I have that doesn't matter here. So you almost always want to play HG. FG really opens your king on this diagonal, the G1, A7 diagonal. And lower rated players never play HG because they're worried about the H file. I mean, taking with the H pawn and the F pawn is the same on the H file. It doesn't matter. Taking here is positionally stronger. In this position, even if you want to play FG, which obviously Ding doesn't, you can't because Queen D4 check wins a piece. So you're forced to play the correct move. Okay. And Queen C8. So So Dubov's just playing for checkmate. Bishop D5, Bishop H3, and checkmate down the H file. These pieces, I guess, don't matter. Just checkmate. Mike Hummer approved. Okay. And then Magnus agrees. Magnus is also playing for checkmate. Rook G1 is the only good move according to the engine. There is no other move. And then Magnus played the best move, H5. Bishop H5 is also possible. Bishop H5 looks weird to me compared to H5. I like H5 better. The engine says H5, Bishop H5, and castles are all the same. I mean, if you castle, then you have some pressure here. Okay, but H5 is looks like what I would play in a 1-minute game. Push that H pawn. Okay, Knight C3. The engine says Knight C3, King G2, Queen E2. King G2 is a weird move because he could have played King G2 earlier. And then F4 was played. At a very low depth, the engine doesn't like Knight C3. And Magnus played F4. The engine likes F4 and Queen C8. Queen C8, Bishop G4, just like Dubov. And Hikaru has to save his bishop, obviously. So he played Bishop D2. And the engine likes black. Black's a piece down, but insane amounts of compensation, obviously. This is a forever pin. Not the kind of forever pin you get from your, wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or husband. Another kind of forever pin. Yeah, the engine doesn't think black has an immediate win. It just likes black, like G5, Queen D6, long castle, and it says white's position is terrible. So even though white's up a piece, it says the engine right now says white's just losing. So if white is losing here, I'm not saying he is, that's not good preparation by Naka. It doesn't see any counterplay for Nakamura. It doesn't see what to do with these pieces. You can never play Knight E2 because this is hanging. And black, even if he's down a piece, obviously could just continue pushing his pawns on the king's side. Black has the two bishops, and white can't really do anything. And normally you could try to escape with sacking the exchange, but you can't. You can almost never do that. So the engine really hates white's position here. It really hates it. Okay, and that's, yeah. So back to the drawing board for Nakamura. Even if he doesn't lose this game, he can't repeat this line because it's bad for white. Okay, and this says that Dubov won, so that means that Ding disconnected, and there's going to be a 20-minute delay and confusion. That's always what that means when it's... Now, wait a minute. This is played... This is played on chess 24. I'm getting confused with the other one. Yeah. When it's played on chess 24... about 1 game out of 10, for no reason, it says somebody won. And then that means there was a disconnection and confusion. So that's what that means. Yeah. So if you guys go to the other streams, like the Chess 24 one, they're probably talking about the disconnection and what's happening. Because it's their site. So they should have the information of what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, whenever this happens, when the position's around equal and it's the first 20 moves of the game, that means that somebody disconnected. I guess it was Ding that disconnected because it says 0-1. So, yeah. I don't know if they're playing on the Chess 24 site or Chess 24 has another server they're playing on. It's sort of confusing. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys can spy on the Chess 24 stream and see what they're claiming is the issue here. It's not going to be 0-1. They're not going to forfeit Ding. This happens a lot. In other Chess 24 tournaments, the Magnus gets really mad. He's trying to have $1 million tournaments, and there's disconnections every tournament and confusion. So, yeah. Let's see. No, it's true. When there are technical issues on every site, but I mean, there's two games going on, and in the Magnus tournaments, there's always between 1 game and 6 games. And when chess.com, for example, has a disconnection issue, it's like Title Tuesday and there's 1,000 players. And like, there's 10 rounds. So you got like 5,000 games and there's like one disconnection and somebody's mad. But in these tournaments, there's always more than one disconnection. There's like no games going on and nobody's playing on their site. So I don't understand why I don't understand. They always have disconnections on Chess 24 in these big events. And then Magnus gets really mad. So, yeah. They're talking about the other game. They said Ding disconnected. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. And I don't think they get forfeited when they disconnect because it happens a lot. So I think they've discussed, okay, they've restarted. And what chess.com does is like the PGN's gone. So chess.com just restarts a PGN on move 1 because they don't have the PGN's gone because the game ended. They can't. I mean, chess 24 says 0-1. So now it's a new PGN and this is move 1, rook d1. So, all right. All right, so they've restarted. All right. And then, Naka's position's not good. Now, Naka knows his position's bad, so he wants to save time and reset for the next game. So he played knight b1. That's very reasonable. Now, obviously, knight b1 makes a lot of sense, even though the engine doesn't like it. It's a very human move. White wants to play bishop c3, attacking this pawn, since this bishop is shallow and pedantic. And Naka wants to play knight d2 and protect his knight. So knight b1 is a very reasonable move for a human, just the engine doesn't like it. Now, you might say, why would a human like it and an engine wouldn't? Engines don't care about strategy. Engines look 7,000 moves ahead, then make the best move. Humans don't look 7,000 moves ahead, so humans try to find the right plan. And Naka's like, if my knight's here, I can move my queen and unpin my knight. And if my bishop's here, I'm threatening this. And the bishop here does nothing, and the knight here does nothing. So knight b1 is a very human move. You play bishop c3, you play knight d2, and we're happy. And the engine looks 1,000 moves ahead and says, I don't like that. Now, since I've been talking, and Stockfish went from depth 17 to 23, now knight b1 is the best move. Okay, because Stockfish agrees that would be a good idea. It's still very bad for white, but it makes a lot of sense, knight b1. And there's a lot of openings in chess where white either plays knight b1 or black plays knight b8 to reroute the knight to a better square, like in the Breyer variation of the Rio Lopez. And in the Slav, sometimes we play knight d7 to b8 to c6. Even in the French, I've seen that. Okay, but the engine really hates Naka's position. And if you have a stronger engine like SES, which is the same engine, but 7,000 cores, then it really likes black. By the way, this is very common. If you have an engine that looks 6 moves ahead and says somebody's better by some amount, then you get an engine that looks 12 moves ahead, one that looks 18 moves ahead. Usually when somebody has an advantage, the better the engine, the more advantage there is. So my engine says black is up 2.4, but SES probably says it's up like 3.4 because C's further ahead. Okay, so bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, g4. This engine says is winning, and bishop c5 is also winning. It's not very human to take on f3. That knight's pinned. This is a more human move to take that. Okay, and Hikaru doesn't care about this pawn. He cares about the variation that I showed you. The bishop c3, knight d2. So he does that. He's like, I want to take this. I want to play knight d2, etc., mainly etc. Just because black's winning, and if two supercomputers were playing, black's going to win, that doesn't mean black's going to win. These positions take a lot of energy and calculation. It's not just, oh, I'm up a piece, I'm winning. This is complicated. Sometimes the engine gives a number, and that could be misleading because some +3 positions are +3 because you make 10 perfect moves in a row, and some positions are +3 because you're up a knight, and everybody wins. This is one of those black's winning, but it's super complicated. So the engine's like, I'll take black, but humans are like, I don't know, I'm confused. Like if I was playing a tournament game here, I wouldn't know who's better. I'd be like, well, this is hanging, I'm up material, my king can't get mated right now. Okay, and Hikaru doesn't care about this pawn or this, he cares about knight b1, bishop c3, knight d2. That's what he cares about. And the engine agrees, knight d2 is a good move. So black has 3 pawns for a piece, which obviously I don't care about, but black has these 2 bishops, black has these 3 connected passed pawns, black's king is safer than white's, white's knight is pinned, white's rook is hanging. All right, so obviously black has tremendous compensation. Okay, after the disconnection, Ding played rook d1, bishop h3, bishop f3, and g6. The engine is not too pleased with either player's play. That says it's okay. b4, as in the game Rady Capablanca. Yay. Go Rady. Rady or not, here he comes. $30, Raj B. Go Ben. Thanks, Raj. You're the best. I miss Raj. Raj is a member of our chess club, and I'd see him maybe 4 times a month, and now I never see him. All right, the engine says this is about equal, materials equal, nobody's getting mated, nobody's winning or losing any pieces, so it's about equal. And this is just a complete mess. So if Naka wins this game, people will be like, what? Magnus was +3 and But I mean, this is a mess. Okay, so queen e7. The engine wants to take something, mainly this. That's not a move I would even consider because I'm not taking a pinned piece, but it really wants to take this and play g4. Queen e7 is the second best move according to Stockfish on depth 22. You're defending the pawn and you're going to castle queenside. That makes more sense to me as a human than taking a knight that's pinned. That makes almost no sense to me. I'm never taking that. So, and of course, black can play g4 and it's going to be crushing position. All right. So opening preparation battle won by Carlsen. And Carlsen's really taking it to Naka. He's not playing boring and solid and trying to draw. He's playing like Dubov. You know, crazy, raw, insane. And so far, it's good. Obviously, Magnus doesn't like the time situation. So you have the 2 games. The Dubov game is more boring. Didn't see that happening. Dubov tried to make it exciting with h5, h4, king f8, because he doesn't want to move his rook off the h file, so he's not going to castle. King f8 avoids some tricks on c6, where you're getting forked. Gets the king to a safer place. And the engine says white's a little better because white has this Catalan type of pressure that we see a lot in the Catalan. There's a show called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And for reasons I don't understand, Queen Latifah is the guest star of the show. It's possible that she's playing Queen Latifah, that it's her. I think it's just her. Like they call her Queen Latifah. Anyway, she's trying out for a movie role and her agent calls her and she answers the phone and then he says, I didn't get the part. Why not? They wanted a more Meryl Streep kind of character. Well, who'd they get? Oh, Meryl Streep. Okay. And then she hangs up. So it's this Catalan-like pressure that we often see in the Catalan. So there you go. How do you have a movie role that's tried out by Queen Latifah and Meryl Streep? wonder if that's ever happened before. They tried out for the same role. Very suspicious. Okay. Queen e7. Queen f1 is the engine move because we got to get out of this pin, and we attack the bishop. Hikaru every move sacrificing the exchange just to get rid of the two bishops. Now the knight's not pinned, and this pawn is attacked. Now you could take the rook, which is a good move, and then, which he did, which now black has less attack because we're trading pieces. So white's not really worried about getting mated. What white is worried about is he's not ahead material anymore. He has two knights for a rook and three pawns. Usually, a rook and three pawns is better than two knights. I mean, usually. Now, this pawn's super weak. So that's an issue. Lose that pawn. Still got three connected pass pawns. And as usual, Papa John's. Yeah. Yeah, and Seinfeld doesn't like Meryl Streep. Complicated episode. All right, Ding and Dubov. After king f8, Dubov played a4. So black's trying to mate white, and white's ignoring him and playing b4, a4, and b5. Because it doesn't see a checkmating attack here. Not enough pieces for black to break through. One of the engine lines is knight g4, knight d3, knight f6, knight e5 draw. What was the engine programmed by Geary? What's going on here? Go, everybody. 537 viewers a do. Slightly more than Nepomniachtchi. All right, I hear lots of noise, so there's a lot of trading going on. Bishop takes f3. The engine likes rook h6, which I don't understand at all. I understand bishop takes f3. He wants to play g4. And he did. Yay. All right, knight takes e5 looks forced. Rook g8 is the best move. I agree with that. Knight g6 is obviously winning. So he played rook g8. Rook f1 makes sense. This rook is ridiculous. Now it's not ridiculous. And the engine prefers black, but not completely winning, just prefers black. So the people on the internet, you people, the people in the other chats, Magnus Carlsen blundered. It said he was up whatever, and now he's up less. Rawr. All right. I mean, he didn't blunder. It's just the position's hard. So black has a rook and two pawns for a bishop and a knight. Black has three connected pass pawns, and white's threatening rook takes f4. My engine says queen g5 still wins. Just simple chess. Defend the pawn. Queen h2, defend the pawn again. In the long run, if white doesn't take these pawns and nothing happens, black just wins. These pawns are going to win. So white has to checkmate black or take those pawns or perpetual somehow the black king's not too safe. But if they just play normal, boring chess, black's going to win because black has three connected pass pawns. So Naka has to do something. Now, the one thing in Naka's favor is Naka has 6 minutes extra on the clock because this position is very difficult. Naka's pretty good when it's a weird position with different kinds of material. So he plays relatively quickly. And Magnus, that's not his forte. He likes when he's better and squeezing. So even though Magnus is playing well, it's taking him tons and tons and tons of time. So with the time situation, Naka's not doing so badly. I mean, I would never be up 6 minutes on the clock against Carlsen in a 15-minute game because he plays instantly and beats me. All right, so knight h7 was played by Dubov. I guess he wants to get his bishop more active, play knight g5, etc. And white played b5. The engine doesn't like b5. It wants to play queen c5. Although after b4, a4, b5 is the human move. I like this move even better. It has the human touch. Okay, and it really hates this move. And it says after knight g5, one of the obvious ideas of knight h7, that black is better. Now Dubov got another piece into the attack of the white king. And Obviously, white's killing black on c6. But okay, knight takes f3 is annoying. Bishop takes e5 is annoying, so you can't win this. That wasn't played. That was my usual mouse slip. Okay, and queen g5 was played by Magnus. And you can see the time situation. Hikaru's up 7 minutes. Julian teaches. Is this the first game today? It is. Magnus isn't going to flag. There's a 10-second increment. Yeah, when people stream in Russian, which several people do, the numbers aren't very good. Yeah. I mean, they know that, but Nepomniachtchi, even when he streams in Russian, he speaks English sometimes. He mixes it in. All right, so this says Magnus is losing now. So Magnus blundered since we've been looking. Let's see what he did. Queen d4. So it's funny, the engine says black's better here, and then it says after queen d4 equal, it just changes its mind. Obviously, white's threatening mate. It's Karen. Now it says black's winning. Man, it's too hard for the engine. So you can imagine how it is for the players, right? Karen's here. Yeah, the engine's like black's winning. Oh, wait, it's equal. Black's winning. Oh, wait, it's equal. Now it says white's winning. So queen h4, king g1. It said queen h4 was winning. Now it says it's equal. Okay, now it says this is winning. It says this is winning. So obviously he could take a perpetual. And instead of taking a perpetual, he can play rook d8. And the engine says black is winning, stopping the checkmate. But Magnus made a really bad move instead. After rook d8, the engine says black is winning. Attacks the queen, stops queen d7 check. It says white has to play, it could play queen c4. Yeah, here's what Magnus didn't see. He saw queen c4 threatens everything, and he probably didn't see rook d5, which the engine likes for black. Obviously, that's insane. And the engine is even confused here because it's too complicated. The idea is if you take, I play f3, threatening mate, and then after here you play g3. You can't calculate this unless you have like an hour, right? And the engine says black is much better, but not completely winning. I mean, this is just nuts. Ooh, thank you. Ooh, that's good too. Take this first. You did good. Take the blue pill. Did you stop at the store?
Yeah.
Good mommy. Again, everybody in there is going to be like, why didn't Magnus win? He was winning. I don't understand. It's ridiculous position. Nobody can figure it out. Black's down like 700 pieces here, and it says black is plus 1.7. Okay, come on. All right. So Magnus should have played rook d8 and then rook d5 of queen c4. After queen c4, he probably thought he wasn't winning, so he made a mistake here. He played g3. g3 is a bad move. Threatening mate. Obviously, white has to play knight f3. And Naka probably thought he was winning after g2. He's threatening double, triple, quadruple checkmate. Rook f2 allows queen h1 mate. Naka simply plays rook e1. And the engine says white's winning or it's a draw, but probably white's winning. So the game turned around a lot because it was too complicated. And now Naka's going to win. Okay, g2 here. Queen takes f3. And black's attack is gone. Right, now the engine announces mate. White's actually mating black. So the losing move for Carlsen was either g3 or g2. It's possible he's losing here. I don't know. And he did lose. g2 definitely loses. Now Naka's winning. So he tried and he failed miserably. The lesson is never try. You can't play king c8 because queen check wins the rook. Now, obviously, in this position, Carlsen can just take a draw. He knows that. And rook d8 probably wins if two supercomputers are playing. Probably. But he blundered with G3, he blundered with G2, and then he lost. And that's because he had a minute and Naka had 8 minutes. So teach him to play slow. Bishop B4, threatening mate. And he resigned here. King C6 obviously gets mated. That's like Morphy versus Doofus. King C8 is ridiculous because I do mate you, but I can also take all your pieces. I mean, you can't play King C8 or King D8 because you're hanging all your pieces and you're getting mated. And this is even sillier. This is like every Morphy Doofus game ever. Yeah. This is all Morphy Doofus games. You know, King walks up and gets mated. Okay, so the final position was Bishop takes C5, Queen F7, and Carlsen resigned here. So Carlsen was better. Carlsen was winning. Carlsen had a perpetual, and then Carlsen lost. And you guys said it in the chat, slow Magnus is bad Magnus. It wasn't a bad Magnus. It was, the game was too complicated. Magnus played much slower than Naka and played fine and got a good position. But then when it was 8 minutes to 1, Magnus fell apart because it's too complicated. And a lot of people, not Magnus, a lot of people in this position would have just taken a draw because of the time situation. They would have said, well, maybe I'm winning, but my opponent has 8 minutes and I have 1, so I'll just play Queen G3, H3 and draw. Not Magnus. Probably not Dubov. And a lot of people would just take the draw. Like Geary, he'd be playing Queen G3, H3, even if he was plus 100. Oh man, a draw. That's even better. So Magnus played for the win. He lost in this position. Naka played for the win yesterday in game 3, and he lost because he had to win. He couldn't draw. Magnus could have drawn, but he would have been mad at himself for not trying to win when he thought he was winning. And with the time situation, he was just guessing. If Magnus thought for 20 minutes, he probably would play Rook D8 here because he would see that G3, G2 doesn't work. But he's got a minute on his clock. So he's like, all right, let's see if it works. Yeah. After here, Black's already in trouble. He might not be losing, but he probably is. Probably. I mean, White is up 2 pieces. White's up 2 pieces. And that's a lot of pieces. And Black can't castle. Yeah, I think here Black's already losing. So I think basically Magnus made one mistake this game of note, G3. I think every other move he played was okay. And then that was all it took, and Naka wins. It was a Naka kind of game, even though the engine didn't like his position. That's more of a Naka game than a Carlsen game. Carlsen likes to be slightly better, then clearly better, than winning. And this is why you guys give me a lot of flack. You guys make fun of me all the time. Magnus isn't the greatest player of all time because Magnus is really, really, really good when he's slightly better or clearly better and has more time. Nobody's better than him. But when it's crazy, weird position, Magnus isn't better than the other players. Magnus is like, I don't know, it's crazy and weird. Leave me alone. So you got to improve at that. And Magnus has been playing crazier lately because all the chess tournaments in the world now are Blitz and Rapid Online. So it's Dubov's time to shine. Okay, and Dubov shined, he won. Okay, unless there was a disconnection. Okay, BC6 is a blunder. I think Dubov actually did win. Yeah, B takes C6 loses. Dubov likes weird, crazy positions. Magnus doesn't. So Dubov's just beating everybody with both colors. Yeah, this is a blunder. And now Bishop takes E5 wins. And he played it. Knight takes F3 wins. Yeah, and Ding just missed this. I don't blame him for missing it. I would miss it also. I missed a very similar move against Ray Robson when I lost to him in 2011. After here, it looks like Black has no attack, and then Black goes Bishop G2. And obviously Ding didn't see that. And Black is threatening Rook H1 check, King takes G2, Queen H3 mate. And if you take the bishop, obviously you get mated, Queen H3, Queen H1, that's it. And if you take the rook, I play queen here, and you can't stop Queen H1 mate. That's super brilliant. That's an amazing tactic. because white's threatening this, white's threatening this, white's up material. After bishop g2, he has to resign. So Magnus had a winning or better position, was crushing, was playing, but he played too slow, got into time trouble, and lost. Dubov played the same way as Magnus, raw attack on the h-file, but Magnus played faster than Ding, and Ding had no time, and Ding missed bishop g2. Bishop g2 is a genius move. You're threatening rook h1 check, queen h3 mate. If you take the rook, queen h3, unstoppable queen h1 mate. That's crazy. That's amazing. And if you take the bishop, then you get mated. If you go to the internet, there's a game I played in a dragon/accelerated dragon with Ray Robson. It's match game number 6 from our match in 2011. And he mated me in a similar way. He made a move I didn't see. And I was like, oh, it was a very similar mate. And I was winning otherwise. I just missed the mate. I think that's the same here. I think if black doesn't play bishop g2, he's going to lose. Because this is hanging, this is hanging. And Ding just didn't see bishop g2. So very similar games. Black took over right away. Black attacked. Black made a lot of threats. Dubov had plenty of time and calculated accurately. Magnus had very little time, disdained to draw, and then got crushed. The truth hurts. Etc. Rook d5, deeper in the Carlsen game. Rawr. Hikaru won, he was losing, and Dubov played the greatest move ever. Here, come here, come here. The greatest move ever. All right, pay attention. You watching? All right, so this is the position right here, because I said so. You see, it's opposite bishops, right? And this is hanging, and then there. And Dubov played bishop g2, confusing the audience. You're the audience. So if it's black's move, black plays rook h1 check, king takes bishop, queen h3 mate. See that queen?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, this move is pretty winning. God damn, right?
Yes.
Okay. And if you take it, then here, check and mate. You could take the rook, right? Mm-hmm. And then queen here, unstoppable mate.
So the game's over already?
Bishop G, all the games are over.
Oh.
Bishop G2 resigns. If you take this, threatening everything, then rook H1 and mate. So in this position, Ding's like, yeah, I have a good position. Dubov went there and he resigned. Then in this position, the end of this game, okay. So white's threatening mate in 2, queen d7, queen f7. You've done that in Puzzle Rush a lot. Mm-hmm. And Magnus has perpetual check. Check, check, check.
Yeah.
Or Magnus is probably winning with rook d8. I'll show you that later. But what he did is he played g3, stopping the mate. And threatening mate. And white played knight f3 and said, I'm up 2 pieces. So then Magnus threatened mate again. Mm-hmm. Threatening quadruple, quintuple checkmate. And Hikaru went here and said, I'm up 2 pieces. So then the game went out like a few more moves. But yeah, queen h1, king f2 is nothing. There's no attack. So Hikaru wins. And then Hikaru mated him and took all his pieces. And he resigned. Rawr, mate, take all your pieces. Okay, now, what Magnus missed, obviously, I was telling the chat. In this position, Magnus, I'm sure, saw rook to d8. Okay? Right? Mm-hmm. Stopping mate and attacking the queen. And he probably thought after queen here he was in trouble. Because white's got a lot of threats. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. But I can play rook to... Well, let's check here first. Okay, but I can play rook to d5. Stopping, that. So you take it, right? Probably Magnus didn't see rook d5 because it looks stupid. Mm-hmm. But it stops all of white's threats. Right, now we start mating again. Rawr, threatening mate. How do you stop mate? Exactly. The engine says here. Then G3. Now, white is up a rook, a bishop, and a knight, and black has a mating attack. If you have no time on your clock, you don't know what's going on. So I don't know. So he didn't do this. The engine says black is close to winning here. Now, the only move for white, according to the engine, is this. There is no other move. This. Black is still up 2 pieces. Rook G4. And then this is the engine line. D4 is the only move it says. Queen G3 check or Queen G2 check. King E3 is forced. Queen takes C2, threatening mate. Now, from Magnus's point of view, he's down 2 pieces here. So you would, or no, there's no rook here. Well, actually, this is good for black. I thought there was a rook here. Yeah, so now Queen D3 takes. Obviously, this is good for black. Black has a rook and 2 pawns for 2 pieces and a passed pawn. Probably winning for black. Probably. Maybe a draw, but probably winning for black. This is like basically forced according to the engine. Now, they don't have any time on their clock. They can't see all this. So, yeah. So instead of perpetual check, instead of doing this, Magnus lost like a little kid. Boo. But not a little kid who's good, like a little kid who's not good. That kind of little kid. All right, they're already playing game 2, confusing the audience.
Well, that's good that he went for it. It's good that
Right, a lot of people would just play the Queen G3, Queen H3 draw because there's no time on their clock.
Yeah.
What I didn't tell you was when all that was happening, Magnus had 1 minute and Hikaru had 8 minutes.
Wow, really?
So yeah, and Magnus still played for the win, but he lost. The lesson is never try. Hopefully somebody's on Hikaru's Twitter account tweeting something nasty about Magnus now, some kind of joke. I don't know what joke. Monka S or W, I don't know. Whatever's funnier, I don't know. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to get my computer fired up so I can see what's going on.
All right. And then we see a Scotch. Magnus is white in a Scotch against Hikaru. We've seen that before. All right. And previously, Magnus played knight c6 in this match. And I said Magnus likes to play the line with knight b3, which is the old move. Only Magnus is playing that. This is the most common move, and this is common. I'm not sure which is more common, actually. Bishop e3 or knight c6. Magnus played this against Hikaru and won a really long endgame, the first game of the match, yesterday. Now Magnus is back to playing his other stuff. Magnus likes to play queen e2 here, but he played bishop g5. Okay, then he played queen e2. Okay. Transposing into what he normally plays. Knight d4, and Magnus doesn't take the knight, plays queen d2, and they traded, and Hikaru's thinking. Obviously, Magnus is still in his prep. Magnus has over 16 minutes, and he started with 15. These matches, Magnus, Hikaru, and Dubov and Ding, have like no draws. They've been playing for 2 days, and there's 1 draw. So that's 10 games? 9 games. So they played 9 games. They played 7 games yesterday and 2 games today, the 2 matches. And there's 8 decisive games and 1 draw. So that's good for you guys. Yeah, Giri's confused. Yeah. What happened in Ding-Dubov, I just gave like a 5-hour soliloquy about that. Dubov won with some brilliant play. Yeah. This was Ding-Dubov, and the very end of the game was this position, and Dubov played bishop g2. And then the arbiter walked up to Dubov and gave him a microphone, and Dubov dropped it. That's actually what happened. Yeah, that's in the rules. If you play bishop g2, the arbiter is required to do that. Yeah, and then it's all kinds of checkmates. It's checkmate all day and then some. And Ding resigned. He's like, man, I'm getting checkmated over here. Frankly, terrible. All right, brilliant game. The next Ding-Dubov game isn't... Oh, there it is. They just started showing it. All right. So Ding is white. I'm sorry, Ding is black. Dubov is white. Dubov's up 1-0. Dubov wins a lot of games in these tournaments. Dubov won 8-3 against Karyakin. And he's won 3-1 with a draw against Ding. Thanks, Seats Boy. 86. So Dubov has 11 wins, 4 losses, and a draw against Karyakin and Ding. God damn. And one of the losses was Armageddon. And 2 of the losses, he was winning, and he blundered and lost. I mean, if he didn't blunder when he was winning, he'd be like 3,100 performance rating. All right, so Dubov's white against Ding. Dubov's up 1-0. Dubov won the match yesterday, winning a draw endgame. They have a Catalan. H4, what the mother, son of a... I've been watching these Catalans my whole life. I've never seen H4, ever. I never will again. H4, god damn. They never play H4. They play H4 in every other opening, but not in this one. Yeah, the engine doesn't like H4. H4 is funny. Couldn't Ding play G4 against Dubov? He could. Then bishop takes F3. Black would play bishop takes F3, threatening rook H1 mate, and queen takes G4 would be mate. Yeah. Possibly other moves win. Bishop takes F3 has to win. No. Dubov and Naka won. This is game 2. Put it in H. Dubov is playing very strangely. Yeah. He always does that. But still, even strange for him. Okay, this is just a normal Scotch. I guess Magnus is out of his prep now because he thought a long time about castling and so forth. The score is Dubov 1 and Naka 1. This is game 2. Can you go back and analyze G4? I can't. The game's gone. Unless it's still there. It is there. Yay. G4. Bishop takes F3. Threatening checkmate and checkmate. That's the end of the analysis. There's no more analysis. I don't know what to tell you. Probably you should stop that. You got bishop takes H8 and bishop H2, and they both allow checkmate. There's not really any analysis. I mean, here, like, what do you want? God damn. It's the beatdown of the century. Yeah. I've never met Dubov, no. Yeah. That analysis was short. 5-inch chain continuing the sub. We've been streaming for an hour, no trains. Boo, boo. Yeah. Magnus is underperforming in online games. Yeah, yesterday Magnus really underperformed. Oh, snap. Have I met Carlsen? What kind of question is that? Carlsen and me are like, that, son. You were saying Boo Earns? All right, that's okay then. All right. Back to whatever it is I was doing. Castles. So on The Simpsons, there's guest stars the guy who wrote Paper Lion. What's his name? I never remember the guy's name. Anyway, they're having a spelling bee, and Lisa's obviously, it's like for the whole state. And Lisa's obviously winning. There's this other kid that's really good, and he's cuter than Lisa. So they want Lisa to throw the spelling bee so the cute kid wins. Right? And she's like, no. And they're like, we'll give you like a free scholarship to college. So she's thinking about it. Anyway, she ends up losing on her own. She just misspells a word. Okay. And the guy, did you guys say the name of the guy who wrote Paper Lion yet? No, nothing? Terrible. Okay, but anyway, so then at the end of the episode, no, not Elliot Gould. Terrible, terrible answer. At the end of the episode, George Plimpton, thank you. At the end of the episode, The spelling bee's over and the episode's ending. And George Plimpton says, he's the proctor of the spelling bee, but the spelling bee's over. And he says, now it's time to go back to do whatever it is I do. And then he walks away. Oh, man, he got himself good there. All right, H6, put in an H. And now, as they're doing now in chess, they're all playing chess like I'm playing a 1 minute game. H4, god damn. They're all doing that. They'll just play H4 every game. So, what's that?
I ran a spelling bee for 2 or 3 years.
Hooray. Did you go back and do whatever it is you do after it was done? So then, bye, I got to go. After HG, the engine likes white. It says, raw H-file, peace sacrifice, I'm the greatest. Hikaru played C6, the engine move, stopping knight D5, play D5 later, etc. And for some reason, this is equal. But the engine likes C6. It doesn't like taking this, opening the H-file for Magnus. So Magnus is going all in today. And Hikaru did not fold. Frankly, terrible. Bishop H6 question mark. That is correct. Ginger GM was ahead of his time. That's for sure. That's right, Earth Goddess. You've been playing GM moves the whole time. Yeah. Naka has to win the match, and Ding has to win the match. Does Bishop H6 work? It does give a bishop away, so that's pretty good. Kind of like that. If you mean does it lose a bishop, then yes, that is correct. Would I prefer black or white here? I prefer white in these positions, but engine says it's equal. I prefer white. Yeah. Magnus barely the world champion. That's correct. Okay, back to whatever it is these guys were doing. The last position we saw was rook d1, a move I don't understand. b5, knight e5. All right. And the engine says white has like no compensation for a pawn. He's got some. But still, he's going to play king f1 eventually and just start attacking. Rawr. And then he's going to throw pieces at Ding, and Ding has to defend. Notice Dubov has 16 minutes and Ding has 9. So Dubov doesn't give 2 of you know what. Yeah. Is pedestrian Ding? He is. They haven't fixed the names yet. They usually fix the names the first 2 minutes. This game's been going on for like 10 minutes. They just forgot to fix the names. So, yeah, they always start out with the fake names. Karen, did they put the real names? Yeah. They forgot to put the real names. Oh, so now it says pedestrian versus Blitz or DDD. So, all right. It always starts out like that, then it's fixed. Not fixed. The chess.com guys are taking a nap. They're tired. Okay, F5. Engine doesn't like it so much. Takes. Now the engine says it's equal. So Dubov just plays like a lunatic. He has deep preparation. He has interesting ideas. And his opponents are all shallow and pedantic. A lot of people who play chess now, who are 27, 2800, they've memorized all the theory. They play very solid, Berlin style, Catalan style, slightly better, and they grind and they beat people like me easily. Dubov plays like a lunatic, except he prepares all of it. Very Kasparov-like. Okay? Complicated sacrifices, double-edged, computers confused, and then he studies it all day and all night, and then he likes to play that kind of way. His opponents are confused. Papa John's. Yeah. Now, the problem is, when you get in your late 30s and early 40s, then if you play that way, you don't see anything and you hang all your pieces and resign. That's what happened to Morozevich. That's what happened to Shirov. Anand, who used to play like that in his 20s, he just changed his style. Anand's like, man, I'm old, so I'm going to play 100 moves of theory, boring, and draw all my games against 27, 2800s. And that worked. So he's been top 20 in the world for 30 years. Morozevich and Shirov, don't look at their ratings now. Shh, don't look them up. Don't do it. They didn't change their style. They played like lunatics, and the 20-year-olds were just taking all their pieces. They said, look, 40-year-old, rawr, take all their pieces. So, truth hurts. So Dubov's doing it now, but he's only 24. When he's 44, Dubov's going to have to either play differently or his rating is going to be 0. All right, Dubov's like, "Rawr, I'm mad. Play like a lunatic." All right, he just castled. He's less mad now. So black is up a pawn. Black has 3-1 on the queen's side, and white has a nice knight in the center. Black's king is suspicious. Black's bishop is suspicious. So that's about equal. Obviously, Dubov has a lot more time. God damn. Right, sweetie? No. All right, get rid of this Ding-Dubov game for. Okay, Carlsen-Naka, c6. And this is the bad Carlsen. We talked about it on the previous streams. Did Carlsen move after c6? Ish don't think so. So now Naka has twice as much time. Frankly, ridiculous. So the last 2 moves, Carlsen's taken like 8-9 minutes off his clock. This is a game 15, dude. You can't think 9 minutes on 2 moves. Right, Carlsen is playing like Dubov. Sack all the pieces, h4. The engine says it's fine, okay? And you guys are like, Carlsen's the greatest ever. But that's not the way Carlsen likes to play. He's trying to play that way, but trying is the first step to failure. Carlsen's like, I'm going to sack everything and play super aggressive. And then Carlsen's like, wait a minute, I don't want to be losing, so I'm going to think a long time every move. And then he gets in time trouble. So Carlsen still wants to play the best move. He just wants to play the best crazy move. Dubov wants to play the best crazy move, but that's how he plays. So Dubov does it and plays fast. Carlsen does it and plays slow, because Carlsen's normal way of playing the last 10 years isn't like this. He's starting to play like this, which is good for rapid and blitz, and Carlsen's practicing against the gawking rabble. Carlsen goes on Twitch and chess.com and chess24 and Lichess and plays thousands of games against people that are 100, 200, 300, 400 points lower than him and plays like a lunatic. And still, like, Fedoseev and him were like tied. So that's not good. He shouldn't be playing blitz chess with Fedoseev and they're tied. Come on, Carlsen. Ridiculous. Doesn't Nakamura just take Fedoseev to school? Come on. So Carlsen likes, rapid and slow chess, and he likes to play like Carlsen because he is Carlsen. But when he plays blitz and bullet, and he's playing the lunatic style that you can see from Firouzja or Dubov or Fedoseev, he's not in his wheelhouse. He's not as good as when he's slightly better, has an hour on his clock, and he's taking away your counterplay. This can't be that he's still thinking. There has to be a disconnection issue or something. It can't be. It has to be they lost the feed. He's thinking 9 minutes in this position, and I'm supposed to believe that? No, he can't be thinking 9 minutes on move 13. Come on. He can't be. That's beyond silly. Him thinking this long, if he is doing it, is ridiculous. Now I'm starting to think there's a connection issue or there's a PGN issue. He played bishop f6, long and f3. The engine says this is bad. Now, obviously, f3 is bad. He's just playing bad. I mean, d5 is an obvious move. He can't take as a bishop e3. Takes and f3 are both terrible moves. They're both terrible. Yeah, terrible. Yeah. Man, he thought for 9 minutes in a 3-minute game. Man, he probably didn't win then. Damn. All right, so Carlsen played bad the last few moves of his game with Naka, and he's playing bad and slow here. This is very strange f3, not because it's f3, but because after d5 you can't take it because of bishop e3. So why would you do that? That's ridiculous. Always play king b1. So very bad play by Carlsen. Very bad. Once Naka didn't take the bishop, then Carlsen was afraid he'd lose his bishop. He's trying to improve at king b1, stopping the bishop e3, so now he's threatening to take. After d4, Naka just has 2 bishops. And Naka's attack is probably better than Carlsen's. Yeah, the engine doesn't like this move as much. It prefers d4, but this move is fine. d4 was better. Okay, and Dubov ding, 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 ding. Looks like Ding's getting his bell rung, right, sweetie? All right, Karen agrees. Rook c1, bishop d7, bishop h6. All right, the engine likes white. Black has 2 passed pawns. Black's king is exposed. The bishops are pretty passive. The knight is great. White has a good pawn structure, very active pieces, open files. White's slightly better. These pawns aren't really queening. In 10 moves, I'll give you another evaluation when the pawns are queening. They're not queening now. Okay, Carlsen trying to Carlsen it up. Get his slight advantage kind of position. So this is better for white now. What Naka should have done, and I know why he didn't do it. I know why. Should have played d4. He was probably worried about this and losing this pawn, but that's just not true. I can play rook d8. I can play bishop c7. If you take this and I take and get that file, that's better than losing this pawn. But bishop here is really good. And obviously, I think if Hikaru had analyzed this more slowly, he would have realized this is good for black. If you take the pawn, then rook d8 wins immediately. You can't take the pawn. So this is just 2 bishops, and then black can start pushing his pawns, and this bishop is bad behind all these pawns. So bishop e6 was a real mistake from Hikaru. It doesn't lose the game. After d4, he has a big advantage, and he just played here, and now he's like slightly worse. Now it's a Magnus kind of position, except for the time situation. You know, isolated pawn, opposite bishops, not much going on. That's more Magnus-like. So Naka should have thought longer before he played bishop e6. He should have played d4. Okay, so he played queen b2. Rook b4 is the best move, attacking the queen. Let's see, I'm getting texts and emails and friend requests and enemy requests. Etc. Still no trains, boo. What's wrong with Chess 24 and their quiz? Their quiz? What? 300 centidues, hooray. He wants to get subdued. 865 viewers a do. All elitists. Yay. The main engine line, the engine's programmed by Geary, is queen a1, rook a4, queen b2, rook b4, draw. Hey, there we go. Now, Ding-Liren is up a pawn, and he lost the first game, so he don't want no draw. Ding-Liren has to win. There we go. Do I think Dubov will win the tournament? Yes. That is correct. Queen z8, defending his f-pawn again. Yeah, Dubov plays crazy and fast. When Carlsen plays crazy, he plays slow, because you got to be careful when you play crazy. It's crazy, but careful. All right, so Carlsen's happy because it's boring and he's slightly better. Naka played rook g8. Rar, g4. Playing crazy again. And Naka's like, all right. And then g5. 200 centidos. Oh, Tyrone, what have you done? Tyrone Biggums? The engine says it's about equal, but Carlsen still wants to attack. h4. I'm very torn about this game. White played f3. Boo. And king b1. Yay. Naka can't play bishop f8, but white can play bishop f1. Tough position to evaluate. Queen f2. Engine approved. Black's up a pawn. White's trying to mate black, so Naka wants to trade queens. It's hard for white to not trade queens. I can always chase your queen around. Trade queens, I don't see how black could ever lose. I don't think it's possible. Up a pawn, opposite bishops. There's Nothing going on. So he's going to try to avoid trading queens. Queen d3 maybe. Then after a6, his bishop isn't very good. Now Naka's going to play queen c5. We can't move our queen away because the bishop's hanging. Queen a4 looks really strange. Another train! By another, I mean from like yesterday because we had no trains today. Hypogenetic Toast subscribed. Good morning. I mean, queen a4 looks really weird, so I'm guessing he'll take now. He doesn't want to trade queens. He played queen a4. Wow. That's really strange to put your queen there. He really doesn't want to trade queens. Naka played h5. That is correct. Artemis Prime subscribed with a 7. All right. Naka won the first game. Dubov won the first game. This is game 2. So this is about equal. It's double-edged. And as usual, Dubov has more time. Magnus is the slow Magnus today. Way behind the clock in the first game. Way behind the clock the second game. Frankly, terrible. Go hype train. Go scam train. What film? Well, if it's Tyrone, it's got to be Snatch. Right, sweetie? You see Snatch? You got to see Snatch. Come on. I'll tell you who's in Snatch so you want to see it.
It's got Richie, right?
Right, but I'll tell you who's in it, you'll be like, okay, I'll see it. If I tell you Brad Pitt, you won't care. If I tell you, who's the guy that I like that nobody likes?
Brad Pitt?
What? No, I'm going to tell you somebody and you'll want to see it. There's a guy that, Jason Statham, you won't care. He's in it too.
Brad Pitt, I care.
No. Benicio del Toro is in it.
Oh, yeah, I do love him.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro, Brad Pitt, Jason Statham. And then there's British actors you've never heard of. Those guys are great. Like Bricktop. Whoever plays Bricktop, I want to give him an award somehow. How do I send Bricktop an award? You know what I mean? Don Cheadle is not in the movie. No, that's not Don Cheadle. Vinnie Jones, is that the guy who plays Bricktop? No, obviously I've seen Lock, Stock, and Snatch like 1,000 times each. Yeah, obviously. That's the big argument, is which movie's better. But the guy who plays Bricktop, he's also in Lock, Stock. He's the bartender. Alan Ford. That guy's a genius of the highest caliber. Yeah, Vinnie Jones is great. Everybody's great. And that's the movie. I almost had to steal this line. The cop in Law and Order, who's not the Italian guy. He's super Italian. The cop, tall. He always dresses really nice. He's older. Dennis Farina. God damn. Right. He's in Snatch. He lives in America, but he keeps flying to England because the movie's shot in England and he has to take care of shit and then fly back. Yeah. So he's not having a good time. Right? So the end of the movie, he flies back and he's in America, and the guy says, do you have anything to declare? He says, yeah, don't go to England. So when I went to India and I flew back and I got to JFK, I was ready. The guy said, and he didn't ask me anything, and he just let me go. I would have said, yeah, don't go to India. I would have said it. I might have got arrested, but I was going to say it anyway. Man, what a great movie, Snatches. Also, I have a serious question for you. Do you like Dags? 200 centidues. Yay. Brad Pitt's really good in Snatch. I mean, really good. Yeah. Yeah, Dennis Farina's been dead for a while. Truth hurts. Yeah. This guy said he likes Dags. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The whole movie, Brad Pitt speaks with a very serious accent. A Cockney accent. Nobody can understand him. People in the movie can't understand him either. Yeah, it's really, he's great. Yeah. All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. Level 3 of the hype train. All right, what did I miss? G5 here, Queen A4, H5. All right, this is the last position we saw. Again, Carlsen's not in his wheelhouse when he's playing like a lunatic. So the engine just wants to play here, but Magnus plays G6 because, that's, what are you going to do? Bishop D3, Rook D6. This is more of a Karu position than a Magnus position. Magnus keeps trying to sack everything. Sack a bishop on G5, sack pawns everywhere. That's not what he does. Rook DE1. The engine doesn't like the way Magnus is playing. At least Magnus is playing really slowly. Every move Magnus plays, the last 4 or 5 moves, the engine is not number one. Conversely, sometimes Dubov, Wesley So, number one move every move. Sometimes. Yeah, the engine doesn't like any of Carlsen's moves. Carlsen's down 2 pawns. So he's got to prove, but he's down 7 minutes to 1 again. This is the bad Carlsen. Man, if Hikaru wins 3-0 today, the XQC people will be spamming Hikaru's chat for another year. It'll be scrolling. Even when he's offline, it'll be scrolling. It's hard to understand. Man. Should you get a job? Oh, keep watching. Or get it so you can get a job. So you can donate. Keep watching. Yeah. 300 centidues. Hooray. Yeah, Guy Ritchie movies are great unless you don't like them. You got to like them. I like them, of course. Yeah. 921 viewers a do.
What's he done lately?
Well, he's taking a nap. 300 cent. I think he made a movie last year. Seriously. Yeah. 300 centidues. Man, Snatch is great. Yeah. The movie's good too. But I'm pumped. So Karen and I were supposed to watch Blazing Saddles, but she had an epiphany and wanted to watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so we saw that. And it was great again. Make Cuckoo's Nest great again. Queen E5, Rook F6, doubling up on the bubble up. Bishop F2, attacking the rook. The rook is under attack. All right, so Hikaru's up 2 pawns. Hikaru's up 5 minutes. And he doesn't have enough compensation. So probably if 2 supercomputers are playing, probably a draw. Probably. But, I mean, obviously black's better, frankly. D4 is very anti-positional, giving all the white squares away, but Hikaru wants this for his bishop. He don't care. Hikaru's like, I want my bishop to go here, and then I'm going to mate your ass. Bam! Gotcha, bitch. Hikaru wants to go here, and here, and here. Papa John's. Okay, so Hikaru's up 2 pawns. White has compensation, but Magnus's time situation is treacherous. These moves are all good. Queen C1, defending both. Takes. Put it in H. H5, excellent move. I mean, Dubov's just better at these crazy positions than Carlsen. So Dubov plays crazy, double edge, confusion, plays faster than his opponent. Carlsen's trying to do the same, but plays slower than his opponent. All right, so we have lots of stuff going on. Wild Rumpus, Kif again. Everybody's making the train go. A couple people are saying that I suck. Okay. Answers fries. Artemis Prime donating. Everybody's giving money to everybody. Level 5 without a pass. Artemis Prime gifting subs. Dimebag gifting a sub. Oh, you just subscribed. Yeah. Everything just tastes purple for a second. That is correct. Egg Hash subscribed. Berenzin Chess gave 199. Good. H5, putting it in H. So the idea is if you take E4 and the knight's pinned. And you can see the time situation, not good for Ding. Also, not good for Carlsen. The time situation. Okay, bishop E4, queen D6, rook D5. it's like 50-50 Hikaru wins on the board. With the time situation, it's got to be like 70-30. I mean, 4 minutes to 1? Come on. All games are live. Big money to whammy stop. $3. West Mantooth 666. You're supposed to say something nasty when you donate $3. Like, you suck. You're the gatekeeper. I hate you. Stuff like that. 975 viewers to do. All right, what's going on here? Chubby Bunny subscribed. Good. Now, rook takes d4, winning a pawn and threatening bishop to d5. So he can't take the rook. So Hikaru moved his king to a safe square. Rook c4. And the engine says black is better. Black's up a pawn. White's rook on h1 is silly. The h-pawn is isolated and weak. Black's position's very safe. And black has 2 minutes extra. Now, Naka was up 5 minutes. Then he was up 4 minutes. Then he was up 3 minutes. Now he's up 2 minutes. So Carlsen's catching up on time. And Carlsen's position's improving. Carlsen's only down a pawn now. And it's a double pawn. Conversely, Dubov's killing it. Dubov's up 3 minutes, and Dubov has a winning position. e4, rook c4 is forced, because the knight's pinned, and the knight's attacked. You have to play rook c4. Rook takes, pawn takes, and he'll win a piece. He'll take back, and black has 3 pawns for a piece, but it's not enough. We talked about this on stream yesterday. Karen, how many pawns is a piece worth? 9. So pay attention. Pay attention. After e takes d, black has 3 pawns for a piece. What is the evaluation of the position? What does the engine say? You hear me talking? They speak English and what? 3 pawns for a piece, and the engine says black should resign because black's down a piece. Frankly, ridiculous. So after e takes, white's completely winning. White has more time. Terrible. It's funny when Matt Larson, when he sent me the text saying 9, because he was my student, bishop e3 is also okay, not as good. He said 9, but it should be more. He thought I was too conservative. All right. Probably he was kidding. All right, so now what's happening? Queen e3. Magnus doesn't want to trade queens because the endgame is very bad for him. So he doesn't trade queens. Magnus is catching up on time. I've never seen Naka play so slow when he was ahead. Now, I did hear that. I don't know if the two are related. Nepomniachtchi beat Danny Wrench 30-0, adopting him 3 times at 3 different time controls. I also heard he beat Danny on his phone. I assume it's the same thing. Because why would Nepomniachtchi be playing Danny? So you pay attention? No, so when Nepomniachtchi adopted Danny 3 times, he was playing on his phone. Nepomniachtchi was. Oh. And he beat him 30 in a row. Oh. Damn, truth hurts. 498, Wild Rumpus bequeaths his last bits. Now, when you bequeath something, are you dead? Or can you be alive? If you're alive, you didn't bequeath it. Yeah, you're alive, so you didn't bequeath it. 850 centidues from the 5-inch taint. Danny won a game? That doesn't sound like Danny. Oh, he used his phone for 1 game. Okay. Yeah. For reasons I don't understand, I think Nepomniachtchi is better than Danny Wrench. All right. Oh, he didn't play all of his games on the phone. Well, that's good. Nepo mouse slip. No. All right. So what do we have here? We have bishop d4. Then he won a pawn back. The engine says that's a blunder. Just blundered a pawn for nothing. So Magnus took it. So it's funny. When Hikaru plays slowly, he also plays bad, just like Magnus. When Hikaru plays fast, he's playing good. Okay, and now Hikaru was PO'd because Magnus played c3. c3, he's PO'd. So Hikaru was 2 pawns up, seems to have blundered both of his pawns for reasons I don't understand. And he's playing super slow. He was up 5 minutes and 2 pawns. Now it's equal material. The engine says he's worse, and Carlsen has equalized the material. That's more of a Naka mistake than Carlsen playing great. Truth hurts. All right, so this is looking good for Carlsen now. His position's better. It's much better than it was 10 moves ago, and the time situation totally reversed. Obviously, Naka's very upset. He knows he was 2 pawns up. He knows he was 5 minutes up, and he knows that things have gone awry. Right, sweetie? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't really like rye. I think he prefers sourdough. Yeah, when you never move and your moves are bad, then things get worse. Yeah. So everything is turned around, frankly terrible. Conversely, 999 centidues. What's going on? The Riska 83. All right, knight takes e3, rook takes d7, king e8, queen d2. So white is up 3 minutes and 20 seconds to 20 seconds, and white's winning. Dubov's going to take a 2-0 lead. Dubov won yesterday, 2.5, 1.5, Papa John's. So it looks really bad for Ding. Ding's getting his bell rung. He zigged when he should have zagged. All right, he played rook b8 with 1 second left. After f takes e3, white's winning. If white plays any other move, black's winning. I don't see another move. What other move is there? What am I missing? I mean, rook b1 is checkmate, so he's got to take this. Now it says after takes c3, it's a draw. The engine changed its mind. Doesn't even have a mind. Because after takes c3, takes check, so the engine says this is a draw. And then rook takes f1 is perpetual. I don't see the perpetual. Now the engine says black's better? Oh, this rook is hanging. Oh, of course black's better. Never mind. King f2. And now if king takes, queen check wins. So now white's winning. Now I'm confused. And queen d6 supposedly also wins. Oh, queen c3, king d7 is winning for black. So white has to play queen d6. Rook check, bishop f1, rook f1. And then it says it's a perpetual. Then it says it's not a perpetual. Then it says it is a perpetual. And now it's stuck on perpetual. It's like Lionel Richie, stuck on perpetual. This is a perpetual, this is a perpetual. That's forced. So if Ding-Liren finds c3, he should draw the game, which would make Dubov very upset. Okay, and he did find it. All that stuff happened. So basically, Ding-Liren's the greatest genius who ever lived. He found rook b8. Even the engine didn't find it. He found a drawing line the engine couldn't find. And then c3. And then, this is amazing. Ding-Liren used all the time on his clock, and he found a drawing line. That's incredible. Wow. He's a genius of the highest caliber. Queen h1's the only drawing move. Queen e3 loses. Because you check and check and check, and you keep checking. Oh, he blundered. Boo. Wow. Queen h1 checks the draw. King e2, queen h5 check. And then if king here, queen here check, and we keep checking, and he blundered with queen e3, now the king runs out, and Dubov wins. The pawn didn't matter. What mattered was checking him forever. And now you can't check him forever. So he blundered. Yeah, he wants to check from behind, not from front. Yeah, checking from front doesn't work. But behind works. Front doesn't work. All right, all kinds of jokes I'm not making. All right, now what's happening in this game? I have to go back even further? Man, I missed a lot of moves this game. Okay, we saw this position. Okay, queen d6, bishop c2. All three results possible and will happen. White keeps attacking this, black keeps attacking this. Finally, they traded queens, and they take each other's pawns that they were trying to take. And the engine says black is in trouble because black's king is no good. That king's like in a mating net. And the rook can't move sideways because you lose this pawn. That means the rook's trapped. And there's like mate on the back rank. So it's bad. He just gave up his pawn. Rook G1. So bishop takes H5 is a blunder. He should have played rook E6. This is the bad Magnus that has no time on his clock. After rook E6, white is close to winning because black's king is in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Probably 50% win, 50% draw. And instead, Magnus blundered his bishop. And now it should just be a draw. Man, when I blunder my bishop, I usually lose. When Magnus blunders his bishop, he draws anyway. After G6, I'm assuming Magnus broke his computer and lighting and his backdrop again. That's an amazing blunder for Magnus. Not to see that G6 wins his bishop. There has to be a video of Magnus breaking his whole setup after G6. There has to be. It's still a draw, but yeah. All right, and they're going to draw. Man, that was not the. I want to report on that game. You know what I mean? I want to see a report. All right, and see what percentage those guys played. Yeah, the Czechs are going to run out. Dubov's going to win, and this game is obviously going to be a draw. All right, and they'll play the king versus king. And I'm going to do a report on this game. All right, and they drew. Man, that game had a lot of mistakes. Lot of mistakes. All right, back to the Ding game with Dubov. I check you, you check me. When the checks run out, he'll resign. Man, they make so many mistakes, but they make so many best moves, it doesn't matter. Magnus played 97.7, and Hikaru played 96.7. So Hikaru made 6 inaccuracies and 1 mistake, and Magnus made 2 inaccuracies, 1 mistake, and 1 blunder. But Magnus made 45 best moves, and Hikaru made 42 best moves. Then excellent, good, and book moves also. Man, even when they blunder every move, they play 96, 97, 98, because their other moves are always the best. The best, Jerry, the best. All right, so this game was a very suspicious draw. Very suspicious. Both sides were winning probably. And even Hikaru, Magnus blundered a piece, and it still drew anyway. All right, and then he resigned Ding, and here he resigned because he's got 1 check left, and the king goes here. So Dubov is up 2-0, and also Ding brilliantly found a way to draw, and then he blundered in this position. This position's a draw, and he played queen e3. Queen h1's a draw. Obviously, with no time on your clock, you can't see that. If he had half an hour, he would have played queen h1. And after here, white's king just runs out. Queen h1, king e2, queen h5, king d3, queen d1, queen c1. And you can't escape the checks. Terrible. The only way to escape is to get your king here. That's the only way to do it. So let's try to do it. Let's do it. Rawr. Queen b5 mate. No. If you can't come up here because you get mated, then it's just a draw. Yeah. You can't play king a5 ever. You can't ever block with the queen because I trade queens and take your rook. So this is just dead draw. Dead. There's no way to win. Dead draw. There's nowhere for the king to go because of the queen b5 mate. After here, though, you can't check from behind because there is no behind. There's nothing here. You can't get there. Yeah. Checking in front doesn't work. Yeah. That can be blocked. Then he resigned. So Ding was losing worse the whole game. He finally found a brilliant draw. Then with seconds on his clock, he messed up. And he couldn't draw. So Dubov's up 2-0. Nakamura's up 1.5 half, etc. Mainly Magnus said rook d2 was a mouse slip. When did he play rook d2? Rook d2 is a weird move. Like, I thought he wanted to play here, which actually isn't that bad. Yeah, here I thought he wanted to play this. Yeah, rook d7 is better, but rook d2 is not a terrible move. Rook e5 is the engine move because it wins this pawn, and it says white's up 2.25. Right here, Magnus just has to play rook e6, and he's much better because he's going to play rook h2. He's going to take the pawn on h5. He has a pass c pawn. Black's king is stuck in the corner. And he's still much better after this. This just blunders a piece. Like g6 and like he loses a piece. Yay, Karen gifted a sub. More subs. Yeah. Berenzin chess 500 centidues. 1,080 viewers. No, I mean, this is a terrible move. He just like didn't see his bishop was trapped. That is weird his bishop is trapped. That's weird that you can't move your bishop anywhere. But rook e6, and with this pass pawn, with this pawn probably falling, with this king trapped in the corner, with this king safer than safe, white has good winning chances. Very good. This just loses a piece, and now it's a dead draw. Man, when I hang a piece, usually I lose. Carlsen hangs a piece, he draws easily. Yesterday, Caruana hung a piece, and Wesley didn't see it. And that game was a draw. So when you're 2,800, you just hang pieces, it doesn't matter. The engine still says you played 98. Doesn't matter. Truth hurts. Why not rook e8? I don't know what position you mean. Here, I don't know where you mean rook e8. I don't see rook e8 ever being good. You don't want to trade rooks for white because this bishop is killing black's king. Yeah. I wouldn't call Magnus a super GM. I would call him the world champion. Oh, snap. 1,047 viewers. Right, but rook d2 mouse slip, like, that's the worst excuse I've ever heard. Because rook d2 is reasonable. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, rook d7 isn't, like, what does that do? The rook's good on d7, but that's not much better than rook d2. This mouse slip didn't affect the result of the game. Might have affected his psyche, but rook e5 is the best move, attacking the h-pawn. Rook here and rook here both don't do anything. So I don't see why he's upset about a mouse slip. Now here, he should be upset about bishop takes h5. That's crazy. This is a crazy move. That just hangs his bishop. Rook e6 and he's better. Rook d6 and he's better. Bishop c2 and he's better. This is a crazy move. So the mouse slip that's shallow and pedantic. Yeah. That doesn't matter. Why not rook d5? I'm saying rook d7 because I thought Magnus said he tried to play rook d7, but he played rook d2. Magnus is saying he tried to play rook d5 instead of rook d2. Yeah, rook d5 actually makes more sense than rook d7. Yeah. Yeah, rook d5 is much better than the moves I've been hearing. And rook e5. Yeah. Teach him to mouse slip. The mouse slip isn't the worst thing he did. The worst thing he did was hang his bishop with bishop takes h5. I want to see what he has to say about that. Terrible. That's right. He wouldn't have mouse slipped if he was playing on his phone. Exactly. That's funny. Can't Magnus go bishop e8 and jump over the pawn? Wow. Rufus and Doofus. Very suspicious. After g6, you want the bishop on h5 to jump over the g6 pawn and go to e8? He is the world champion, but I don't think he can do that. Yeah, your suggested move is very suspicious. I mean, he's the world champion, but still, the software might not let him jump over the g-pawn. Yeah. All right, there's no moves, there's no games. Boo. Dubov's up 2-0. Nakamura's up 1.5 half. Just once. Rufus and Doofus living up to their name. That's funny. Hello. Petridge Farm remembers. That is correct. Oh. 989. What's on my shirt? Me. I'm on my shirt. Roar. Right? I didn't eat today, although I did have some cough drops. So that's good. Yeah. I'll never be able to eat. Ew.
I need to log in as you want me to.
All right, they haven't shown any more games yet. Maybe they're having a break after 2 games. If they're showing games somewhere else, let me know so I can complain. But if they're not showing games anywhere else, then we can't show them. Let's see, I'm on my shirt, and my shirt is on me. Good, good. Prediction? Pain.
March approved by Karen.
Go, Karen. Was that you? Mm-hmm. Yay. Yeah. Go, Karen.
That's just ignoring me.
All right. We have the shallow and pedantic. I mean, the pedestrian. All right. So Ding has to win the next 2 games to force an Armageddon. If Ding loses or draws either of the next 2 games, he's out. Dubov goes to the finals. Dubov has a couple of days to wait. Dubov 2-0. He won the match yesterday. The only way for Ding to survive and play tomorrow is to win this game, win the next game, win the Armageddon. 50-50. Either he'll do it or he won't. Yeah. Etc. Where is Magnus from yesterday? English? All right, they're playing. 17 cents. Go Dubov. Let's see. I don't know. Something. Mainly or something. What is the Armageddon draw? Please answer. Black wins if it's a draw in the Armageddon. Dubov 2 good, but what if Ding Larin is 3 good? Go Ding, 18 cents. Man, you guys are rooting for Dubov, but you're not, or you're rooting for your guy, but you don't give too many cents. Just a little. Is Armageddon ever rated? Nothing's rated. What? Let's see. Dubov, Carlsen. Hey, the scores are right. Good job. 19 cents. But you didn't say who he was rooting for. Terrible. Let's see. The other game's up. All right, I can get rid of this. All right, so we got a transpose into a Catalan with D4. And Nakamura Carlsen. If Nakamura wins, he wins the match today. All right, D5 is a sideline. It's played occasionally. A4, knight D4, I think. Knight D4. Here, I don't know what black plays. I guess he plays D5. All right, white is clearly slightly better, but not really. A little bit better. Dubov always playing a different line against everything. 22 cents for Hikaru, 9 cents for Dubov, 21 cents for nobody. All right. 1,000 viewers a do. That's right. Not anymore, but they used to be. Right? Yeah. Check. Bishop e7. Knight c6. This game seems pretty equal. Pretty equal. So black's pawn structure is worse. Black has the 2 bishops. Equal. $0.23 for chess, 23 cents for nobody, 45 cents for nobody, 54 cents for nobody. If everybody donates 40, 50 cents, I'm happy. There's a lot of people watching. You can call them people. All right, white has the smallest of advantages, and probably this game will be a draw, and Magnus will have to win game 4 with white to tie the match and go into Armageddon. Cody Moore, 6576 subscribed. Kif78 gave a weird number of centidues. It's just a lot of ones. I don't know. Looks like about 35. I don't know. Some amount. Confusing the audience. Nobody knows how many it is. Ralph Wiggum, 9 cents. All right, we have a closed Catalan, not the most interesting, very strategical in nature. Black hasn't played h5, g5. Sometimes black does play g5. Black, it goes like bishop f4, knight h5, and sometimes we play f5 and g5. Dubov approved. That was 50 cents, 123 centidues, 9 centidues. The number 50, but no centidues. Yeah, Carlsen was winning the first game and he lost. Second game, he was losing. Then he was much better. Then he hung a piece. He mouse slipped. And then that was a draw. So it's a very interesting match so far. And Dubov wins every game. Why didn't Dubov take on c4 earlier? He can. That's just a different line. Then white plays e4 and white tries to win the pawn back. Yeah, that's a different way of playing. He decided not to do that. Everybody's complaining there's this knocking, wobbling sound. It could be you're kicking the thing sometimes or you're typing, I don't know. They claim that there's noise from here sometimes from like wobbling. There's more than one person complaining. 234 centidues. They complained a couple of days ago too. And then I like moved them. I like did that. No, they just complained.
I know, I'm saying previously.
What?
I was at home when they were complaining.
Right. No, they complained twice. It's in the last like 5 minutes.
I know. I'm trying to say the noise source might be more
right.
than one.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, like sometimes I move the mouse, like I move the microphone like this. Then they're like, okay, that's good. I don't know. I've done that. And they're like, yeah, the noise went away. I don't know. Yeah, I think they're all crazy like Fox News. I don't know. Then I did it really bad. I think it just went away. I did move the microphone very slightly. So now this thing went away. I don't know. Noise is barely an issue. That's right, barely. I don't hear it. The sound is like a coffee percolator. Wait, how do you not hear it? Then you say what the sound is like.
I have heard this sound before. It's like
yeah.
a drum underwater.
Hmm. This thing, I fixed it by moving it like half an inch this way. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, you didn't mean to make a barely joke, but you did? Good. Yeah. Let's see. That was barely a joke. There we go. All right, what's going on? The usual's going on. Rook e4, take. And white is clearly slightly better. And this game is always equal. Let's see if it's still equal. Rook d7. All right, so probably Carlsen's going to start making a lot of trades now. Take the knight, take the rook, take the c-pawn, draw, Papa John's. Could anyone answer with no W? I like that. 99 cent to do's and 1 cent to do. I got 1 cent to do and you got 99 from Berenzen Chess. Hooray. Is this the deciding game? If Nakamura wins, yes. If he doesn't win, no. And the other game, Ding-Dubov, if Dubov wins or draws, yes. If Ding wins, no. It's first to get 2.5 points, and Dubov has 2, and Nakamura has 1.5. All right, and they're racing to a draw. It's the most drawn of positions. Let's see, there's lots of 99 cent to do's and 9 cent to do's. I'm getting confused over here. I have a lot of donations between 1 and 50 cents. Like many, like 100. That's it's getting, if we get 1,000, then we're good. Magnus castled, making Botvinnik mad. Botvinnik would have played King E7. The engine says F3 and white's better. Black wants to play rook E8 mate, rook E1 mate. He also wants to play rook E4. So F3 stops them both. Boo, boo. Boo, never play F3. That was king can come out. He stops rook here. Stops mate. Good, good. White is slightly better. Might even be a pawn up soon. He's afraid of C5, so he retreats his queen. And this is, after C5, it should be equal. So white's going to be a pawn ahead, but it's a double isolated pawn, so it's not of great consequence. This bishop doesn't have a lot of squares, so rook c3 might be a good move. The gawking rabble in the chess.com chat says, I'd rather be black here. All right. Nonsensical chat. Never play f6. Boo. So basically, the position is the same, except white has a doubled extra isolated pawn. So very little consequence. Also, it's the wrong colored rook pawn. Boo. So I'm guessing Magnus isn't going to lose this. And this position, all three results will happen. Ding plays d5 because he's got to win the game. He can't play boring and get an equal position. He's got to get double-edged position. The engine doesn't think white's better, but the position can be won by both sides, so that's good. Pass d pawn, knife f5, etc. Looking good for Dubov, though. Position's equal. He needs a draw to move on to the finals. And this is a two-result game. Either Naka wins or it's a draw. A draw is the most likely, but Naka could win. Naka does have the extra pawn. It doesn't seem like it's super important. This bishop has a tough time staying where it is, and it's hard to defend this pawn. Then white's going to have an extra passed pawn. Badmeister 1991 subscribed. Greetings from Munich. He's from Bavaria. All right, well, he's not even trying to win. All right, this is a draw. So, isn't Oktoberfest in September? Do you agree? I think Oktoberfest is in September, confusing the audience. Just to confuse the audience. Yeah. And on The Simpsons, it's Scotchtoberfest. And on Futurama, It's a very highfalutin, high society kind of thing. Oktoberfest is canceled. God damn. But when it's not canceled, and it's normally, it's in September. That's what I thought. No, it's in November. God damn. End of September. It starts in September. Yeah. No, I don't mean this year. I mean in general when Oktoberfest is. All right, so they've agreed to a draw. Hikaru didn't even try to win. He's like, I'll just draw with black and win the match. All right. And they agreed to a draw, and they repeated and all that, and they drop a reputation. All right, Hikaru's up 2-1. Magnus gets white in the last game. If Magnus wins, they play Armageddon. If Magnus doesn't win, Hikaru wins the match, and we'll see tomorrow. Dubov needs to draw or win, and he wins the match. Okay, knight d4 is double question mark blunder, hanging a piece. So Dubov's going to win. Queen e5 wins. It's just like a horrible. He just didn't see queen e5. Wow, he took it. Ding-Dubov blundered a piece, and Dubov didn't take it.
Oh, okay.
Queen e5 resigns Papa John's. Yeah. Wow, he didn't see queen e5. That's it. Game's over. Yeah. I have an engine. The engine says white resigns. I mean, I thought he played queen e5 and Ding-Dubov would resign. So, god damn. That's awful. So he has to go here or here, doesn't matter. And then 2 pieces for a rook. So this is just resignable. Wow. The queen e5 and it's over. Why does queen e5 win a piece? Okay, in this position, if I take it, I lose my queen. And in this position, now I'm going to take it and be a piece up. If you move the knight, I take this. That's it. There's no analysis. F4 doesn't work. Queen e3 check. Yeah. Ding didn't see queen e5, and Dubov didn't see queen e5. Dubov's not expecting Ding to hang a piece. So, yeah. Man, queen e5, and that would have been it. All right. So, Dubov's probably going to win anyway at the match, because he's up 2-0. But still, yeah. Wow. God damn. I blunder you, you blunder me. I wonder what would have happened if black was Paul Morphy. All right. So he took instead, which now is terrible. White has the 2 bishops for nothing. Now white's just better. 2 bishops, passed pawn. Unbelievable bishop takes. Wow. Amazing. Barely a blunder. Yeah. All right, well, blunder, draw. It is raining, and then some. Yeah. So Nakamura, Carlsen, they're not showing the 4th game yet, probably because they're not playing. Good reason. If somebody starts showing the Nakamura, Carlsen game 4 somewhere else, let me know so I can yell at them. Yeah. I challenge you to a duel. I accept. Let's see. I'm pretty free tomorrow. How about noon? Chess 24 showing game 4 of the Naka match? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody else said so. Terrible. Call my third. That's right. That's Woody Allen movie, Love and Death. Power and Salad. 72 subscribe for 20 months. Yay. Let's see. Dancing Tortoise laughs. No game here yet. Rook d2. Not blundering his rook on d4. Good. Love and Death might be his best movie. I like Manhattan. Most people think it's, what's her name? Annie Hall. Most people think Annie Hall's his best movie. Some think it's Love and Death, and I like Manhattan. When I told my dad that Manhattan was his best movie, My dad said that's Gershwin's best movie. Oh, snap.
I
What?
can't even watch Manhattan anymore.
Why not?
Because of his, pedophilia.
Yeah, truth
It's
hurts.
hard to watch that movie now.
Aw,
I used to like it before all this stuff happened.
yeah.
I like Crimes and Misdemeanors.
That's what this guy just said.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the best.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic film.
What about Annie Hall?
I liked it, but I like
Yeah.
Crimes and Misdemeanors.
What about Love and Death? Love and Death has a lot of funny
I've
scenes,
seen
like
it.
individual
I
scenes.
liked it alright. It's hard to watch Manhattan.
I like
I mean,
it.
gross.
Yeah, I like
Gross
in.
old man.
I like in. What happened here to my? What is this? This isn't right. Oh, maybe it is right. Never mind. I like in Manhattan when in Love and Death when he says we have a little play for you to watch, and the play is ridiculous and lasts like 20 seconds. It's a ridiculous play. Then when it's over, Woody Allen and his friend like critique the play, a very long critique, longer than the play, and they argue about it. It's like really funny because the play has nothing in it. So that was a great scene.
Okay.
Sleeper's also very good. Yeah. I like in Sleeper when Woody Allen is pretending to be a robot and he takes the sex ball and he's like passing it. It's not supposed to affect him because he's a robot and he's passing it to the next person.
Crimes and Misdemeanors like one of my top 5 movies.
Aw.
All the time.
I don't even know if I've seen it.
It's
Maybe I've seen it.
amazing.
I might have seen it. I don't know. Have I seen it? Yeah.
I just think it's way better than his other films.
Yeah? Who's in it?
Lenny from Law and Order.
Yay.
Jerry Orbach.
Yeah, I'll have to see that again because I don't remember it.
Martin Landau.
Yeah,
Anjelica Houston.
I might have seen it. I might have seen it.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah, has a good cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alan Alda's in it, I think. It's just
I think
really-
I've seen it.
it's great.
Yeah. Somebody wanted to play Rook H4, threatening mate, hoping that his opponent doesn't stop it. Rook H4 is okay. And he said mate, the guy stops it. But usually they don't put their rooks on the side of the board. That's for their H pawns.
That's your fun.
Yes. Yes, you can.
I'm just like, yes.
Yes. All right, Engine says it's equal. And we don't have the Naka Carlsen fourth game. I'm getting worried. Is anybody showing that on another site and we just don't have it yet? Getting worried. Anybody? Anyone? That's right. My brain is my second favorite organ. I remember that line. I also like Take the Money and Run. There's a lot of funny skits in that too. Magnus forfeited. Nobody's showing the Magnus Naka fourth game yet? Anybody? Oh yeah, Bananas I like too. Bananas has a lot of funny scenes. You have to suck out the poison. So many good movies. His best movie is the one he made when when they were on Seinfeld. These pretzels are making me thirsty. I have a gub. No, that says gub. No, it says gub. Now come over here. What does that say? Is that an N or a B? Yeah. Magnus has to find a new mouse. All right. Is anybody showing the fourth Magnus game or hasn't started yet? All right, so white threatened checkmate. Now, this is terrible F6. He should have just allowed the mate. And then asked why, he said, well, Ben says never play F6. Now, that would be the right thing to do. After this, the Engine wants to play Bishop F1, and I'm not kidding. But he played A3. Boo, boo. Rook E2. See, Bishop F1 would have stopped that. Hasn't started? Good, good. It's not boo. It's Ding. Naka's up 2-1 and Dubov's up 2-0. Dubov's like, if I can draw, I win the match. Hooray for me. Yeah, when Dubov came 7th place in the prelims and the top 8 go, I didn't see him going to the finals. Beat Karyakin. He's probably going to beat Ding. Amazing. That's right. Queen takes d2 was the best engine move. That's correct. Yeah, Nakamura Carlsen will start their game in the next 5 minutes. That is correct. All right, black never gets mated with a knight on f8. And white has 2 bishops and a passed pawn, so white's better. They just started? Okay, they don't have the game here yet. There it is. They just put it up. Put up or shut up. All right, Magnus is in must-win game. Then they play Armageddon. Magnus doesn't win. Then Hikaru wins the match today, and they play the 3rd match tomorrow. That's an Italian game. All right, and white is very slightly better. If Hikaru wins or draws this game, he'll gain like 1,000 rating points. He's 1,500 and Magnus is 2,800. Man. They are playing quickly. That is correct. They both have a minute more than they started with. Very good, Tomato Cup. That's the first good joke you've made in all the time you've been on my stream. 1,500 in GM must be British. Very good. Yeah, that is correct. All right, D5, E5. All right, Magnus is playing like Magnus this game. He's playing really fast. He's playing really solid. He has a tiny advantage. That's the Magnus that usually does well. Could Dubov play instead of Alexenko in the candidates? Well, the candidates is half over, so I don't think so. Yeah. Now, normally, Hikaru is a super GM, but if his rating's 1,500, he's a super British GM. They've corrected Hikaru's rating. He gained a lot of rating points in the last minute. 1,500 to 28-29. Yeah, damn. All right, what happened this game? Takes, knight f8, rook e1, takes, queen d7. Black wants to Netflix and chill, and Ding Loren says he wants to just get to know him first. Black's just going to wait and says, like, you can't win, everything's fine, there's no way to break through, and Ding has to win, otherwise the match is over. The engine says all zeros. Obviously, it's better to have white here, because white has 2 bishops and a passed pawn, but there's no way to force a win. So the game will just go on and on and on and on, and Ding's going to hope that Dubov blunders in time trouble. And knight f5 was played. Everybody's going to play knight f5. Hikaru will play it. Then Magnus will play it. Good, good. You guys can't click knight f5 because that's tier 2. You guys can't afford knight f5. It's a very elitist emote. Rook takes e4 at some point? Maybe, but I doubt it. Whoa, Mr. Popezilla. Kangaroo showing the level 3 emote. Those mods like to show their power. What's the score? 2-1 Naka, 2-0 Dubov. This is game 4, and this is game 3. Queen d7, queen e4, knight g6, etc. Dubov played queen d7, so the queen would infiltrate. Dubov wants to win this pawn. Take the pawn. Then the engine says it's equal. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. So he has to be awake by now. Dun, 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 dun. Now we're almost at 50,000 subscribers to our Chess Center YouTube channel. 49,800. Soon. And we have about 58,000 on my channel, I think. All right, so let me see if this was fixed. I don't think it was fixed. Yeah, I know you can spin. Stop spinning. There we go. Okay, text Spencer. Where's Spencer? Where are you? Stop typoing. All right. It's thunder and lightning and rain and etc. Mainly etc. They traded rooks, queen d7, queen e4, knight g6, and queen c4 was played. Black's going to play queen d6 or king f8. Position's about equal. Ding-Dubov has to win. Sometimes when you have to win, but you're not winning, then you go too far. So, and Dubov doesn't have many draws. Dubov's played, 14, 15 games in these two matches with Karyakin and Ding, and there's only one draw. Yay, we have a raid from Casper Pollock. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but thanks for the raid. Great raid. It's just Pam. 600 centidues from Pam. Yay. It's like it's Pat, but it's Pam. Thanks, Pam. Artemis Prime gifted a sub to Late Night. All kinds of noises are happening. What's happening? Casper Pollock is raiding. Hooray. Casper Pollock, what are you raiding from? Are you chess? I can't tell from. Are you a chess streamer or some games or something? Yeah, hype. Go raid. Go Pam. Go etc. We do have a command that says what the pictures are behind me. There is a command. Mubot tells you what the pictures are. Yep. Exclam pictures. Already tells you. It's a raid. It's Ovi. Chess with Ovi. Yay. Hooray, everybody.
Hang on a second, okay? I'll be right back.
We got a raid.
From who?
I don't know. Casper Pollock. I don't know who it is. He's a chess streamer. Yay, go chess streamers. All right. And then, let's see. He played King H8. Bauer and Salad gave 5 subs. Hooray. I'm surprised he played King H8 instead of King F8, but all right. Nobody puts Dubov in the corner. H4, putting it in H. Everybody plays on the H file. That's the way you play chess nowadays. All right, so after knight F5, this is the last position we saw. Everybody plays knight F5. That's the way life is. And this is Hikaru's, most advanced minor piece. So Magnus wants to trade that off. Hikaru agrees. A4. Yeah, the engine says it's about equal. B4. Also, etc. Is the club open again? No, obviously. No, we can't open the club legally, and if we could open it legally, we wouldn't. The club's not going to be open in 2020. You kidding? Frosty Balrog subscribed. You can never come to the club, ever. Even when we're open, don't come to the club, Ovi. Frosty Balrog subscribed. Yay. Yay, subs. Yay, noises. That's right. The ghost of Jackson Pollock is correct. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the 999 viewers. 999. Yeah. Don't ever come to the club. You'll kill us all. No. That's right. All right, what's going on in this game? Both players resigned. B4 is good. Hikaru knows the en passant rule. Now, Hikaru didn't know the en passant rule, but he went from 1500 to 2829 in like 1 minute. So now he knows the en passant rule. All right, and the engine says it's the most equal of positions, confusing the audience. And after king h8, he put it in h. Knight e7, he wants to win this pawn. And queen f4, he wants to come in here. Rawr! I checkmate you, you checkmate me. The engine says king g8 and bishop takes d5 are the best moves, both with equality. c6. Carlsen's thinking. Naka's playing really fast. They're on move 20, and Naka's only used 1 minute and 15 seconds from his original time. This isn't going to be easy for Carlsen to win. If he wins, it's going to be 1,000 moves. Naka's in the driver's seat. Thunder everywhere. Wow, it's really dark outside. It's noon. That's pretty dark outside. Man, scary. Who would have thought rain and thunder and lightning and thunderstorms would be bad? All right. Yay, it's a donation. If it's $1,000, big money, no whammy. Stop. $5. Yay. Thank you. Hasu Magic, you're the best. Bishop takes d5. The engine says that move is good. Good. So now the engine line is takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, king g8, queen e7. Slightly better for white. Very slightly. If white doesn't do that, it says white's worse. So white has to do that or he's worse. After bishop takes, you can't take with a knight because queen b8's annoying. Does it matter when chess is played? Bishop h3, boo. I mean, ding. Now the engine says queen c6, and black is just better. Black's up a pawn for nothing. He probably saw this too and thought that the queen and pawn ending was a draw. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Knight takes obviously hangs mate. Okay, but this is the line the engine wanted to play. And probably Ding thought, I'm not going to win this with white. This pawn's queening. It's 4 pawns each. Yeah, the engine says this is a draw. So he saw this line and he's like, that won't work. So he's playing a worse position because the other position's too equal and he has to win. So now Dubov's in the driver's seat. Dubov's a pawn up for virtually nothing after queen c6. White doesn't really have any initiative. This bishop can't crash through. Black's a pawn up on the queen side. Jim 202-207 gifted a sub. That's also part of the position for some reason. Rendan subscribed. Good, good, etc. All right, so what did he do? He didn't play queen c6. He played bishop e6. And then Ding-Dubov, having just seen Blazing Saddles last night, the reason he saw it was I texted Ding and I said, Karen and I are going to see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so you can watch Blazing Saddles. So he did. And after he saw the movie, Ding-Dubov in this position said, excuse me while I whip this out. After bishop takes f6, everybody screamed. Okay? So the idea is if I take queen f6 check, bishop takes e6, resigns. So you have to take on h3. You have to take on e7. And we have queen opposite bishop ending with the same pawns. White's threatening mate. So black played bishop e6. The bishop's going to go here and stop mate. It's 5 pawns each. It's a queen opposite bishop each. It's completely equal. The only advantage Ding has is he has 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and Dubov has less than a minute, but completely drawn position. Carlsen has to win, or he loses today's match. He thought a long time after c6, played bishop e2, always retreat. And the engine says it's completely equal. And Naka has 4 minutes more. It's the bad Carlsen, the one who plays slow and doesn't get an advantage. Naka's playing really swiftly and correctly this game. No problems for black. He's taken over the A file. They're trading pieces, equal material. The engine says it's equal. There's no clear plan for white. If we start pushing all these pawns, the bishop has the e4 square. This pawn's attacked. This pawn's attacked. This rook is good. Naka's in the driver's seat. Looks like we're going to see more chess tomorrow. Ding has to win this game, but I don't know how he's going to win. Black's protecting everything. Queen takes, gives him a pass pawn. This king doesn't have a lot of defense. The engine says it's all zeros. Again, Dubov only has 45 seconds. It's Ding's last hope. Go Adam. Adam's the best. Better than all the rest. If you hear weird noises, it's not the mic, it's the rain hitting everywhere. I thought it was dark outside. I think because of the, terrible weather. Exclam elite. Good job. You always say that. I want to take a chance. That's correct. No, not air conditioner. It looks like it's going to rain. Man, hope Family Guy doesn't sue me. They seem pretty litigious. All right, so Ding-Dubov thought forever, and now Dubov is caught up on time. Position's just equal, so Ding has to hope Dubov blunders with time trouble. And Rook C1 was played by Magnus. Magnus has no advantage, and Magnus has less time. All right, and they're going to draw, and Dubov wins the match. It's going to be Dubov's second draw in like 1,000 games. All right, this is a dead draw. Dead. It's the deadest of draws. All right, so Dubov has his second draw of the 4 days, 5 days, and he's going to move on to the finals. Dubov's going to play the winner of the Carlsen-Nakamura match. If Nakamura wins the match today by drawing or winning this game or winning the Armageddon game, then Carlsen and Nakamura play tomorrow, and Dubov has to wait. And also tomorrow, there's no more of this St. Louis tournament. That ends today. So it looks like tomorrow, if Nakamura continues to win the match that he's winning, he's going to play Carlsen again tomorrow, another match. That'll be the only coverage of the day. Carlsen, Nakamura, all of their games and matches and tournaments are over. I can make videos. Okay, and they agreed to a draw. I guess it was a repetition. They drawed by reputation and drew. Only Dubov's second draw in the last 6 days. Dubov wins 2.5 half. He beat Dingler in yesterday, 2.5, 1.5. The day before, he beat Karyakin 3-0. Unbelievable. Dubov is in the finals. He awaits the winner of this match. So we'll get rid of this game. We'll change the scene. And we'll concentrate on this game. Carlsen played Rook C1. Carlsen needs to win this game to force Armageddon. If Carlsen loses or draws, the match is over. Then Hikaru plays Magnus again tomorrow. And the chess.com guys, they put 5-head Hikaru. So, yeah, that's what it says. The chess.com guys are funny. Not too funny, but a little funny.
They already stole that from Gary.
Yeah. Okay, Rook B3, B5. The engine actually prefers Hikaru's position. Queen B4. Hikaru wants to trade everything and draw. Then he wins the match today. Magnus always retreats. Threatening Bishop F1. Threatening. Rook B1. He wants to trade everything. Rook B1. Equal position. Hikaru has more time. If Hikaru draws or wins, he wins the match today, and they play tomorrow. Jim R. 20227 gifted a sub to Chess with Ovi. Chess with Ovi is Ovi, by the way. R-O-V. Yeah, I told him never to come here. Yeah. Yeah, he said, don't you want to meet my girlfriend? Somehow he put air quotes in the chat. I don't know how he did that.
What?
No, he didn't put air quotes.
What do you mean, quote? Why are you putting quote?
Yes, I'm kidding.
Oh.
Yeah. I occasionally make
I'm
jokes.
dying to meet her. She's so beautiful.
Man, if we meet her, we will be dying. Oh, snap. COVID.
She's so
Okay, so the engine says white is clearly slightly better in this endgame. Hikaru trading everything to a drawn ending. Will he draw the drawn ending with an extra minute? Probably. The engine says it's a draw. The game's never going to end. It's going to go at least 45 more moves. This game will not go less than 75 moves. I guarantee it. If you don't like that, I'll guarantee you something else. Did you want an Academy Award? I can guarantee it. I can guarantee anything you want. What cartoon am I quoting, paraphrasing, referencing? Just guess one of them.
Simpsons.
Futurama. Yeah, Calculon wanted an Academy Award, so Bender guaranteed it. He said, I can guarantee anything you want. It was great the way he said it. Great acting skill. Yeah. Guarantee void in Tennessee. That's Simpsons. Yeah. Dimebag, you're not a 12-year-old kid on Twitch. You don't know what anything means. Yeah. Why is Magnus so slow? They've played 32 moves, and Magnus has used 7 minutes. Well, that's not that slow. Magnus has more time. Come on. Okay, Bishop D3. He put it in F. He's going to overrun him, but not really. Yeah, he knows what 5-head is. He's making a joke. We make jokes here on this stream sometimes. 1,000 viewers. The more you donate, the more viewers we have. Am I way off? Truth hurts. Nice dime bag. Good handle, though. I bet the engine is Eric Rosen in disguise. Jokes are not allowed. No! Hikaru played F6. Boo! Hikaru wants to trade all the pawns off. If there's no pawns, he won't lose. And not only that, Hikaru can sacrifice a bishop. If we take off one of these bishops, doesn't matter which one, and these 5 pawns, and take off white's 5 pawns, and it's 2 bishops against 1 bishop, that's a dead draw. So Hikaru needs to get rid of all of Magnus's pawns, and that's what he's doing. The less pawns white has, the less chance he has to win. The engine says it's all zeros. All the pawns are going to disappear. Pandemonium. Magnus, if bishops are traded, wants to trade these 2 bishops. Those are favored because then he'll have the right colored H-pawn. Okay, which I don't see how that could possibly matter, but we'll see in 25 moves. You actually want to trade these bishops because this is the good bishop and this is the bad bishop, but that's a separate issue. So Naka can either take and play bishop b5 or play bishop b5 right away. And either way, it's equal. So it looks like Hikaru's going to play Magnus tomorrow in the third match. Dubov's already won his match. 2.5, half against Ding. Dubov's in the final. Dubov awaits the winner of these matches with Carlsen and Naka. Carlsen won the match yesterday 3-0. Nakamura looks like he's going to win the match today. Then they'll play tomorrow a third match. At 4 p.m. today, Eastern, we have the match between Wesley So and Fabiano Caruana in the Clutch Chess Champions Cup. That starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is in 3.5 hours. So has a 1-point lead. They've both won a game and have 4 draws, but So won the important game, the 2-point game. Okay, Black played FE. You can take this, you can take this, you can take this. It's a big decision. They're all equal. So Magnus has to find the one that gives him the best winning chances. The engine says after DEC5, Black is better. So that might be a bad decision. Maybe being worse is good. So Naka plays for a win and then he loses. Maybe that's what Magnus is thinking. Definitely not thinking Arby's. Yay, go moderation. Okay, he played FE. Looks pretty drawn. Bishop B5, the only move that draws. The most obvious move ever since his pawn's hanging. One sen to do. Hooray. Jim R., the only person in the world who likes the clutch format. Doesn't know why he likes it. 1,001 viewers and Dalmatians. We're on move 35. Go, everybody. Papa John's. Would Hikaru be tougher for Dubov compared to Ding? Yes. Yeah, Ding put up no resistance. Boo. What would Muse say? Terrible. Why is Naka thinking so much? No thinking in chess. Yeah, Hikaru's riding on the chess 24-inch chrome. That's right. No, Ovi says he and you are making fun of me behind my back. Aren't you in front of my back? What? Yeah. Yeah, he said, just kidding. All right, bishop E5, bishop C2. It's the most drawn of positions. Nobody can win. Frankly, terrible. Let's see, reading the chess.com chat. Not very good. Not good.
What's going on?
Nothing. 999 viewers. Hooray. 2 bishops. What else? Everybody has the 2 bishops. Can Vincent Vega go to the bathroom so we get some action? That is correct. What movie is he referencing? Whenever Vincent Vega goes to the bathroom, somebody gets shot. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. Going to the bathroom is risky in that movie. You know what movie it is? You can do it. That's correct. Who plays Vincent Vega?
Is he the one that gets shot?
He does eventually, because the toaster pops up.
Travolta?
That's correct. In other movies, there's a Vic Vega, his brother. Who plays Vic Vega? Now, that's a tough one.
Another Quentin Tarantino movie?
That's correct.
I don't know.
What? I forgot his name. Tom Cruise? Michael Madsen, that is correct. Is he your favorite actor? Now, in Pulp Fiction, in Reservoir Dogs, when he's torturing the cop and cuts off his ear, at some point when the cop is begging for his life, he says, "Don't kill me. I'm a father. I just had a kid." Something like that. I'm a dad. I have kids. That was ad-libbed. Michael Madsen walked out crying because he just had a kid. Man, you got Michael Madsen good. That wasn't really in character, Michael Madsen crying, so they didn't show that in the theme. Yeah. When he cuts off the guy's ear, then he has the ear up like this, and he says, hello? Michael Madsen. Hello? Talking in the ear.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, then Mepex pointed out that happened. Yeah. The cop didn't like that. It was irritating. You hear me? You hear me talking? Stuck in the middle with you. That is correct. By Steeler's Wheel. All right, Bishop A5, G4. It's the most equal of positions. I know what Naka's thinking now about Magnus. He's thinking, where's my emote? I have the proper emote for this. If only I could find it. Where'd it go? I can never find my emotes. There it is. Yeah, this is what he's thinking. You're all talking a badge. Go Pam. What's phrase number 5? Why do I have to be Mr. Pink? I can't say the rest of that quote, but yeah. I'm the best commentator ever. That is correct. 1,100 viewers. Good comment, a chess guy. Maybe you're the best commentator ever. Mepex, paraphrasing it where you can legally put it on Twitch. Very good. You hear that? All right, what's going on here? It says Naka's clearly slightly better. C5. Naka trades all the pawns off. God damn. Takes this. This pawn's hanging. Naka said if there's no pawns on the board, I won't lose. And he's right. It's pandemonium. That is correct. Yeah, Magnus not going to win this position. It's the most drawn of positions. So Naka's going to draw this game, is going to win the match 2.5, 1.5. Winning the first game, drawing the next 3. And we're going to see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. They're going to play again, Magnus and Hikaru. And the winner of the match tomorrow plays Dubov the next day. Dubov won his match. He's done. Ding is out. And 4 o'clock today, we have Fabi playing Wesley. I'll be 5 minutes late because I'm doing something before that ends at 4. But I'll be here. Show up at 4 and, say nonsense in the chat for 5 minutes. Yeah. Never streamed on Mixer, but I told Karen about Mixer. So. What?
I haven't updated the score today.
People have updated it.
They did?
Yeah.
Is it correct right now? If not, I can update.
I don't know. Type exclaim score and find out. Bruja Web. Go Bruja Web. It should say 2.5 half for Dubov, and it should say 2-1 Naka. Okay, the game's over. So it should say 2.5, 1.5 for Naka, and 2.5 half for Dubov. They drew by reputation. All right, and they agreed to a draw because this is the most drawn position ever. Frankly, drawn. All right, the game's over. Tomorrow, Naka plays Carlsen again, and that's the only match tomorrow. That's it. And at 4 o'clock today, in 3 hours and 20 minutes, we're going to look at the Caruana So match. They're going to wrap it up. Today's the last day of that event. And I'm going to go because I have to, eat and then make videos and stuff. I can raid, I guess either Alessia or Anna. That's the only people I can raid. Raid. That starts with an A. Anna Cramling or now Anna Cramling, it says just chatting.
Yeah, I would do Alessia.
Yeah, Alessia gets really excited when I read too. Mm-hmm. She starts screaming and stuff. And then what's his name? I don't know what his name is. Pietro. He can talk to her in Italian. It'll be great. Yeah, exactly. The most important thing about this game, which was just asked by Maddie Getz, is